All right, hey everybody, welcome to episode 19 of Stop and Give Me 20 podcast, 20 minutes with some of the world's top fitness professionals. I'm your host, Anthony Rana. You can check out the show notes at stop20podcast.com. That's stop20podcast.com. Before you do that, go to iTunes and subscribe to the show. Please leave us a rating and a review. The reviews are also super important. I know I say it every time, but we still are a new show. We've only been doing this for a little over 2 months, but really need the ratings and reviews, so please go on there and do that. All right, for today's episode, I have on Rachel Cosgrove, and Rachel is the best-selling author of The Female Body Breakthrough, as well as Drop 2 Sizes. She's the owner, or I should say co-owner, of Results Fitness and Results Fitness University, where she's helping change the way fitness is done. Rachel's a rare bird. She has the chops to train others at a very high level. She trains herself at a very high level. She actually enters all kinds of road races and obstacle course races. She actually has one coming up, powerlifting events. But she also, at the same time, and we don't see this in a lot of trainers, she has a brilliant business sense, and that's where Results Fitness University comes in. I'm not using that description lightly. Go to one of the business masterminds or mentorships that they have, and which one's coming up, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So, Rachel, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Quite an introduction. Thank you.
All right. Rach, let's get right into this. What's your story? What's that spark that got you kind of into a fitness lifestyle?
What's that spark? I love that question. What's that spark? Because it makes me think, okay, what's the moment that I really decided this was going to be my path? And who knew that this, was going to lead to what it's led to, which is what's so cool. Because thinking back, how I got started, really it was through, kind of shallow reasons, shallow, selfish reasons. It was really, I was in dance. I loved dancing. I was, very serious about my dance career. So serious that I moved to New York City to pursue dancing. I mean, it was, something I was serious about, but I never had the dancer's body. I, have short legs and a long torso. And so I'd stand next to, the other dancers in the lineup, but I'd compare myself, of course, as us women do. And, look at how my legs kind of stopped and theirs kept going. And, so I was always on this pursuit of, this dancer's body. And it didn't help that I do come from a family who does struggle with their weight. My entire family struggles with obesity, and I've watched, my family all struggle with different diets and, trying to figure out different things. And so early, I really, was starting to try and figure it out for myself. And so through, this journey of, not only, in the dance studio, but then, probably about the age of 12 or 13, my dad, who actually was very involved in fitness and went to the gym a lot, and he was kind of an old school, he actually did strongman competitions, and he took me to the gym. He was the first one to take me to the gym. And so I, started going to the gym, and of course I was scared I would bulk up. So I would do light weights with lots of reps, and, I'd have this little arm circuit I would do with like little 3-pound dumbbells. And then I'd spend most of my time on the treadmill, and, I never really felt like I was seeing the results that I wanted to see. And so I continued on my pursuit. I went to college and got my degree in physiology. And I really always had a fascination with the human body. I've always thought that, the inner workings of the human body. It's never in college. I had the opportunity to dissect cadavers, and that's always been something that's just fascinated me. And so, as I started to learn more and more, and then went to New York City and met my husband, Alan Cosgrove, and he's the one who really shifted my, my mindset and my philosophy of how I approached my own fitness, and started to strength train more and started to see my body really start to change. And that's really how I started. It's really, it's funny because it started from this really wanting to look a certain way, really trying to get that perfect body, and now fitness is so much more to me. And it's, it's definitely, led me on this path that's been an exciting, fun adventure.
Yeah, that's, it's almost universal that people got into it for kind of aesthetic reasons or rare reasons. What When you were going to the gym with your dad, really quick, what, like, he didn't say, Rach, let's go pick up these heavy things, or he didn't give you a program. He just said, all right, cool, you're coming with me, just go do something.
Yeah, we would go and, he'd usually do the bench press or the manly exercises. And, and I would, I'd read, fitness magazines and stuff and try to figure, and I was, watching, different Susan Powder and, I would all those crazy, people don't even know who she is. I was her for Halloween just recently, and all of my trainers were like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "You guys don't know." But I used to read, and I started to try and figure stuff out then. But yeah, he'd show me a few things, and you just start to try to explore and figure it out. And I'll be honest, most of what I did was on the cardio machines, and then I would start taking aerobics classes. And then, I started as an aerobics instructor. I started teaching step and spin and all of those things. And, then as I, got into personal training, it wasn't really until after college when I moved to New York. And that's when I first became a personal trainer and started strength training and started, teaching people how to strength train. And it's funny, I've recently been thinking about, because when we opened our gym, I was 25. And so we've had our gym open 17 years. And so even since we've opened our gym, because after New York, we obviously moved back to California and opened our gym. And as a 25-year-old trainer to my 40-something-year-old clients, they all would say, "Wait till you're my age." They'd always tell me that. And I'd say, "Oh, yeah. And so a lot of those clients are still our clients. So now, it's been 17 years, and now here I am in my 40s. And so it's funny because, they're all now approaching their 60s, they're in their 50s, and so I've kind of gone on that journey. Like if I could, as a 25-year-old trainer, I had things were so different, and my perspective was so different, having that 6-pack and making sure I got my photo shoot done was important, and now, in my 40s, I'm so much more, I get my clients so much more, I get them. I'm like, I am you. Yeah. I understand you.
Totally. It's pretty rare. Rach, who was that superhero growing up? Who influenced you?
Superhero. Well, if I'm not allowed to use family, my dad always looked like Clark Kent, was always Superman to me and all my friends. So if I was going to say someone who's a family, it'd be my dad, would be Superman. But if I'm not going to say family, I would say, I'm thinking on a bigger level of just with business and with even just the way they approach life. As you know, and as so many people know, because I tell so many stories about him, Richard Branson is somebody who I look up to. I look up to the way he runs his business. I look up to the way he lives his life, the way he gives back. He's really makes an impact in such a bigger way. But then even on another level, just the way he treats people. And we've been fortunate to be able to, spend some time at Necker Island with him, and to see, that he's just such a, just a good guy, and really the way he treats his employees, the way he treats even his guests, us. He's just somebody who I think, I always inspires me. I always, when I'm trying to, when I'm thinking about how I want to act in a certain situation, or I want to make a decision, I always kind of run the scenario of, well, what would Richard Branson do? And so I'd probably put him in that superhero place.
Love it. And it's so great when you can, we a lot of times with us, like, he's a celebrity, especially. He's not just a business owner. I mean, he's a celebrity business owner, because we all know about him and he's been in the news so much. But when you meet that superhero and they're nicer and cooler than you even expected, which is very cool. Yeah,
and he is. He's so down to earth, and he's not better. There's nothing about him that is better than anybody. I mean, when we were staying at his island, and the first time we met him there, we were all going to go do some water sports. So it was like the water sports time. We're all going to go like paddleboarding and sailing. And so we all show up to do this water sports. We didn't know he was coming. And so he walks in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Richard Branson. And I'm like standing next to him, and we're putting on sunscreen, and he's like, "Hi, it's Sir Richard Branson, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Richard." I'm like, "Yeah, I know who you are." And he's like, "What are you going to do? You can paddleboard?" I'm like, "I don't know. What are you doing?" And it's like, he was acting like we were just the same, all going, and I'm like, you own this island. But beyond that, he's just what he's accomplished. And I've read all of his business books, and, I just really, anybody like that who has gone from, really building from nothing to building everything, that he's built, and having the impact that he's had, and just, the way he's really looking for ways to give back, and he's always looking for how he can make a big, with his influence, what he can do to really, make a change on a bigger level.
Yeah. And, speaking of that, you guys are doing that as well for the industry. And I think with you especially, and I do say this to a lot of my guests because they have so many different ways they've kind of approached things and people that they're speaking to. And I think especially with you, you have regular trainers, you have business owners through Results Fitness University, that you have your clients, you have your employees at the gym. And you have women who you've written for and you're trying to empower them. Who are you trying to really be a superhero to? Who are you trying to help with your message?
Well, of course, my niece and nephew and my goddaughter, but besides them, I'm going to be a superhero to them, but besides them, as far as in the industry, definitely, I think it starts with our gym. I mean, Alan and I are having a blast at the gym right now. We've been having the gym 17 years. It has its ups and downs. And I would say right now we're both having a great time. It's just, we have a great team and we just love being there. And we love being around our team and bringing them up. And I think, that's number one. We know if we push them to get better, that our company is going to get better. And so, we set the pace for our company. And so, the faster we can grow and the faster they can grow, and if we can help them to grow, then, we're going to be able to make a bigger impact on this industry. So they're number one because that's I see them every single day. And so, I'm very aware of that. But then obviously, through our Results Fitness University, we've realized that, there's all of the trainers that we've been so fortunate to work with. And, we're excited to continue that and to see people in the industry who have been able to, who started where we started and who are now, really making an impact on an even bigger level. And so, that's, it's like you said, I do have a number of different voices, and sometimes like on Facebook I'm like, who am I talking to, because it's, you have your clients who, of course, you want to be superheroes to your clients, and to your, to our team who, are very, we want to drive them, and then all of the fitness professionals and changing the way fitness is done. And really, we're not done. We have a lot. I think we've come a long way, definitely since we started in this industry. The industry's dramatically changed, but we're not done. And I think my goal is not to be it's not to be a superhero. Like, I think, Alan and I have always felt kind of weird about that, the celebrity, thing. But we realize that that's part of it to accomplish what we want to accomplish, is to, people are going to know of you and know who you are. And if we can, help enough people to build a business and help change more lives and really change the way fitness is done and change the way our profession is seen, so that we're seen as, professionals and part of the healthcare, team. I think that's really what it's about.
Absolutely. And you talk about the industry change. It's interesting because I always use Alan's quote of "been there, done that, still doing it." And, that's why I always recommend your mentorship or your mastermind to other trainers, because I say they're still checking in and working at Results Fitness, which helps them understand and helps them teach trainers about business, about the fitness business, because things change and you guys have to evolve with it. Give us just a minute on the future of the industry. Where are things going? What's changing now? What do you think where are we going?
Yeah, I like you said, I don't know how people could teach business without having, that we call it our research and development, because things are changing so quickly. And I think, by having, it is our inspiration. It is it is where we do our, we can try stuff out and we can see if it works. And I mean, everything's changing. Everything from, yes, in the fitness industry, as far as, our program design and exercises and, things like DBRT coming into the mix. And, there's there's always something new, as far as how can we get better results? How can we, design even better programs so that our clients get faster results? That's always happening. But then besides that, with business, even with just how we talk to our clients, even your team, we have most of our team are millennials, so it's a whole another group of people that are, we got to figure out how do we communicate and how to, and even now, like people are texting, so I think technology obviously is a huge part of the changes that are going to take place. And then I do think how we communicate, I think, the boundaries are definitely different. When Alan and I first opened 17 years ago, we didn't have to, there was no such thing as Facebook. So that wasn't even like a conversation about, what is our Facebook, our stance on Facebook going to be. But now, it's something that you have to think about in your company, like how, what's our presence going to be on Facebook? What do we want to tell our team? How do they represent themselves? So I think it's technology, like where the industry is going, but then it's also through that technology, how are we communicating with our clients to get better results? So it's not just technology for technology's sake, but it's how does it actually make the experience better? I think people are always going to need that in-person connection. And I think they're going to need it more and more. So I don't, if you're a great coach, I don't think you're in danger of being replaced by a robot. I don't think that's going to happen. Because I do think that there will still always be that need of, if you're a great coach and if you're not just a rep counter, you're actually somebody who's, really you have that connection with the people you work with to bring out the best in them. That's always going to be needed, so it's just figuring out how can we use technology to make that experience even better. And we've integrated some stuff, like heart rate monitor system, even just like, in body instead of, pinching people with a caliper, now they can step on an in body and we can get a nice printout of, what their body's made up of. And so there's definitely already things that, we started integrating in. And now it's even looking at, for us, we've always been very good about setting those professional boundaries because we felt that it's very important. And so looking ahead, what does that look like with, we're even looking at, okay, how can we get where people could text us at the gym and, like getting an iPhone for the gym so that we can text our clients because that's how people communicate now, and we have a landline. We don't have a cell phone at the gym. So things like that are, like I said, with communication, how can you make the experience even better using technology? And I think it's mostly through the communication that we have with our clients.
Yeah, it's a you can't beat them, join them type of thing. And even 5 years ago we wouldn't have been saying this, but definitely where there's an opportunity, but there's still some dangers there. So definitely very, very true. All right, Rach, now it's time for the Stop and Give Me 5 segment. 5 rapid fire questions and answers. Ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right. You're on a desert island. Perform better as flying somebody in for a lecture. They're not going to bring you home, but they're going to just drop that person off. It could be anyone living. Who do you want to see? Who do you want to see lecture?
So thinking about this, I'll just rapid fire and just sit fast, right? It would be Tony Robbins. I have never gotten to see him speak live. And so I've actually gotten to see a lot of people who, amazing speakers. And so he's who I want to see. I listened to his cassette tapes.
Nice.
That's how long I've been listening to him. He's definitely influenced me. So I'd love to see him and his energy live.
Yeah. I'm surprised you haven't. Cool. All right.
I know.
You're starting a new company tomorrow, and you and Alan have to hire a new CEO. Money's no object. You can take anyone. I think I'm going to know the answer now, but you can take anyone from another company. Who is it?
Richard Branson.
Okay.
And the main reason is the way he treats people. I know that's the main reason. And obviously he knows what he's doing.
Love it. Proudest personal fitness accomplishment. I know you do so many different things. You've tried out everything. What's your proudest personal fitness accomplishment?
Proudest personal fitness accomplishment. I'd have to be accomplishing the Ironman. which when you sign up for an Ironman, you have to sign up a year in advance. And so for a year, I designed a program and I stuck to that day by day, and I did everything on my plan. And I was so ready for that event a year later. And I was, it was a big undertaking. So an Ironman, you swim 2 miles, you bike 112 miles, and then you run a marathon. And so, you have to put the training in. You can't just show up and do it. So that was definitely, I would say, the best feeling was accomplishing that Ironman because I spent a year training for it.
Nice. Coolest fitness experience, really, where you've kind of worked on?
Yeah, this is, I had a client who contacted me who lived on St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands, and she hired me to come out. So she'd fly me out and I'd stay there for a week and I'd train her and her husband. And she was like, first I didn't know if she was going to be like a total nightmare. So I charged enough money that, it was exciting. It was going to be fun anyway. And yet she was like so cool. And so I basically, you can't train somebody for more than an hour a day, right? Yeah. So I would do the workout and then I would hang out in St. Thomas. And so for the week, and, we'd do a workout once a day, even like, so she had brought me out like 3 or 4 times. She ended up, I ended up training her for a figure competition. But anyway, it was funny because that was one of the coolest experience I've ever had, was, flying out and working in a place like that.
Nice. Can't beat that. You could have lunch with anyone living or dead. Who would it be?
This would be Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn I took his 12-month personal development course, and it changed my life. And he's just I've listened to him all the time, and he's had a huge influence on me, but I never did go to one of his events or see him speak live. And so I'd love to meet Jim Rohn.
Nice. Great. All right, let's wrap it up. Last minute here. What's a project you're working on that's getting you really excited?
A project I'm working on. I just started a Facebook group, private Facebook group for women and women fitness entrepreneurs. And I'm loving it. I'm loving, having one, like we were talking about earlier, knowing specifically who I'm talking to. So now I can share stuff with these women that can help specifically them, so we have some conversations going on in that Facebook group that I haven't been able to have outside of that group, just really with the women in our industry to bring them up. So I'm excited about that.
Cool. And let's finish up with the letter to your younger self. What advice would you kind of give yourself?
Letter to my younger self would be, like we talked about how I started in the fitness industry, and, the reason was really to have that perfect body. And, I think I always was worried about what other people thought, my younger self. And I think I would just want to tell myself, don't worry about, that it doesn't matter, and that to relax and to not stress so much, and that life is an adventure, and just to really enjoy myself more. I think, then it's the things that you end up getting yourself stressed out about. Now looking back, you go, what was I thinking? And so I would really just want to tell myself to relax and, and enjoy myself more, and not be so worried about what other people think.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Very common. And, it's funny. I think it's where the saying, the youth is wasted on the young. So,
yeah.
Rachel, thanks so much for coming on today. You have inspired so many people on so many different levels, whether it's women trainers or women fitness entrepreneurs or every male fitness entrepreneurs, through what you've been doing. You guys really are changing the way fitness is done. So thanks so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. So thanks.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for episode 19 of the Stop and Give Me 20 podcast. Thanks again to Rachel Cosgrove. Make sure to check out all the links to all her stuff at stop20podcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show. Leave us a review and a rating. It's really going to help us out. My name is Anthony Rana. Thanks so much for stopping by.